Welcome to Garage Geek. I hope everyone had a great week. I've got 2 weeks left. Okay, my dog Angel is into my lap and he just can't get into a good position. I thought he'd settle down, but he didn't. So I've got 2 weeks left until winter break. I'm so looking forward to it. I had one of the best parent conferences ever, and by that I mean one of the worst. I'm not going to get into it though, although it would be a really amusing story. I'm going to start off with collectibles, and then I'm going to go into books. I actually don't have any movies that I watched. I didn't watch any movies this week. Okay, Angel. I didn't watch any movies this week. I've been watching a show. Ooh, that looks raggedy. CGC Vinyl Guy said it's time for me to trim my beard. Maybe he's right, but I'm going to keep letting it grow. I want to see where this goes. ZZ Top style. I forgot what I was saying. So, let's just get on to collectibles. Yeah, I totally got derailed with my train of thought there. So I'm going to start with this. Pirate of the Pacific. It is Doc Savage number 19. And I'm not very far in it, but I wanted to let my viewers know that I am working on this because some of you picked this for me to read. It's actually quite good, except it is so racist. Like, I mean, wow. So I really don't know what to say, but it's an exciting story so far, but if you can stand the racism. I read another book, which I'll get into later, which was equally racist. But is it bad for me to say that I'm enjoying it? Because I am. I want to talk to you about some books that I got. So I got some books. These aren't all the ones I got, but I got a couple of books that I'd like to share. So the first one was I'm collecting some vintage paperbacks right now. So I bought this just for the eye. Look at that. How to use ESP. I am not going to read this book. I bought that for the cover. The ESP Way to Health and Joy. Training the subconscious, finding thought pals, in quotation marks, using white magic. We wouldn't want to use black magic. Success in sex and marriage via ESP. That sounds like coercion. Success in sex and marriage via ESP. That's scary. An exciting new guide to happiness by the noted psychic Dorothy Spence Lauer with Brad Steiger. I mean, what a bunch of malarkey, but what a cool cover! I love it. Okay, when I saw it, I had to buy it. I got an Ace Double. So if you're not familiar with these are the 2 books in 1. And one reason I wanna own some of these is because a lot of the Hugo Awards they award they have like a whole bunch of different categories, but one category is novel. Wow, I'm kind of spacing out right now. Novels, and then they have short story collections, or short story, I think, just short story. And then they also have novelette. Anyways, it's shorter than, this is taking way too long for me to explain. So I'm hoping that I'll find some of the Hugo nominated stories in some of these Ace Doubles that I'll be able to read. But the first one is by Marion Zimmer Bradley. And recently, when I've been in Whatnot, people have been saying a lot of like weird things about this writer. And so I haven't actually researched it, but I guess she did a lot of like abuse to her children, and I think it's sexual. So I don't know much about this writer, but I really do need to research it. And then on the other side, they have The Anything Tree by John Rackham. On Jensen's world, the tree is master and man the servant. Look at that. Crazy Ace Double. I got this one, Mary Roberts Reinhardt. I just kind of dug that cover. It does. These books still need a little bit of cleaning, so I'm going to try to clean that up a bit. But she saw a devil ship. Pretty cool. This one definitely needs some cleaning, but I thought, what a cool cover. Elephant Hill. Yeah, I'm going to have to use some Goo Gone to get rid of that. Hopefully it won't stain. It was 50 cents, although I guess as a hardback it was $3.50. Elephant Hill, the story of an American school teacher and an Indian gentleman. And a love that divide convention. Okay, this sounds interesting. I hadn't read that part before. Okay, so the next ones I've shown before, but I'm kind of on a kick. I'm trying to put them in plastic after I read them, or if I'm not going to read them. So I've already read this one, and I entombed it in plastic, and I think it looks pretty good. Now, the bad thing is when you turn it around, it doesn't look that great. But what do you think? It's actually quite a bit of work for each book. But I figure once I'm done reading it, then there's no reason to have it out, and it'll keep it protected. And actually, I think it looks really nice like that. So conversely, when I would, I left them over there. I would get some of them in the ones that they would send, and they were loose, and they just didn't look very nice. So here are two more examples of the smaller books that I bought. These Ace science fiction books. And I put them in the plastic, and I think especially this one, it like really pops in this. So what do you think about this process? Now I did these two, but I don't think I did as well. Like this one is loose, and so I need to actually take more time to make it right. So I don't like how this one turned out, but yeah. So what do you think about those? Or that process. I'm in the process of doing that. I would like to show you some comics and things that I got. I just got most of these today, so that's why I'm showing it off. Except for this one. This World's Finest I got. I was just, number one, to me, it's almost pristine. Now, collectors would not call this mint, like a 9.8. They wouldn't do that. Because if you look, there's like, I mean, if you look at it very carefully, you'll see like dents and things. But without looking at it too carefully, I mean, look at the colors, how bold they are. And I just think this is a beautiful book. And then when you start examining what's going on, surrender or I command my females to kill your friend. I mean, and then look at the way the females are dressed. Like she's got shorts on and bell bottoms. I just love it. Like, what a cool cover. World's Finest. And that one is a 25-cent, number 233. Well, this one I had to pick up because it was just so weird. Come on, Angel. Come here. This one is Bio AIDS 1995, The Price of Blood. When I saw that, I was like, what is that? Like, what kind of comic book is this? I have to find out. So I just got it in the mail, and I'm going to be, it's a USA Bullet Comics. Never heard of this company. Like, it's just so weird. When I saw that, I was like, what? Yeah, I had to try it. Now, this poor comic book is all beat up, but it's an example of a comic that I want in my collection. I'm sure I can find a better copy of it sooner or later, but look at what a cool cover that is. Blondie and his dog, they're on the moon, I would guess. Yeah, it's all beat up, right? But it's still such a gorgeous comic. My dog's trying to get his plastic toy. Okay, I'm going to show you another detective comic. This one is a 12-center, and I just got this one today, and I thought, it was pretty... first of all, it's a pretty cool cover. And then here's Robin, Hunters of the Elephant's Graveyard. And he's like, I gotta keep pounding away at this charging elephant. Get him to release his hold on Batman. So look at Batman. He's all like splayed out. But he's like so ineffectually pounding at this. He's like, bonk, bonk. It's pretty funny. Poor Robin. He's just like always being mistreated, or he's ineffectual. Come on, jump up. This one is a very strange one. I actually think that this is kind of difficult to come across, or it's expensive when you find it. I was lucky to get it very cheap. It's a Dell 15-cent Dracula, but it's like no Dracula you've ever seen before. I guess he's a superhero. The origin of the new Dracula, the secret of Dracula's strange superpowers, and I guess he's from a castle. But look, he's like coming out of a test tube. I don't know. It's just so strange. These older comics. This is another example of a comic that is just beat up. But when I saw it, I was like, what a cool cover. And that's Jack Kirby all the way. Like, how is he going to not miss those knives when you open this? They're like an inch or even half an inch from his chest. And what is this this guy saying? Your time has run out. It's too late to escape. I can't save you, Mr. Miracle. Oh, he's actually not throwing the knives at him. All right, enough with the comics. I'm going to show you two more items. I don't normally collect anything newspapery. That it's just, to me, they're too brittle and they're large. But I saw this and I went ahead and purchased it. I mean, it's got Dracula right there, Bela Lugosi. Look at that. Yeah, it's this cool old the Monster Times magazine. It was a 60 cent. It doesn't say the year. Yeah, I don't know, but I'm sure if I look through it, it'd be interesting. Oh, look at that. Woo. So, I don't know, like, this is not going to send me off on a newspaper kick. I know that for sure. But I am happy to own this. I got it like very cheap or part of a lot. And it was with this, I think. Horror movie posters. This is right up my alley. It's got a fold on the back, but I got it like really cheap. And it's just, you know, as you'd expect. Monster horror movie poster. So how fun is it going to be to look through that? All right, so I think it's time to talk about the books I read. Now, I'm going to put these to the side, and I'm also going to take a sip of my coffee. Oh, that was an audible sip of coffee. Sorry. So let me go ahead and open up my iPad. I got my pictures ready. What's up, Angel? Okay, I need to do this faster. My audience is waiting. Okay, where are the pictures? There we go. This week on the way home, like right as I was leaving school, it was after tutoring, it rained in a certain part of the city, and this is from my school. Look at that. There was this gigantic, beautiful rainbow over the city. And what was cool about it is as I was driving home, like, sorry, but my windshield is so dirty, but it was a gigantic, like, what do we call that? Arch, semicircle over the whole city. It was gorgeous. Better than what's in this picture. And in fact, there was more than one rainbow. I wish I had shown that to you. All right. So let me talk about some of the books that I read. So this one was recommended by Omnicat. And, oh, that reminds me. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to be on Larry's Library's monthly show. And there are going to be two other people this time. So this time there's going to be four. This is the first time for me to experience something like that. Although I have seen the other participants in other... oh my gosh, my brain is blank. What do you call it when people are hosting a show like that? Let's just say a discussion. Okay, so I'm going to be one of four in this discussion thing, and this is new for me. It's tomorrow morning, 6:30 my time, which is so early, 8:30 his time. And I'm going to leave the link after he posts it. So I'm going to attach it. I'm going to attach it. I'm going to link it to this video, but after a post. But if you want to join us, please do. It's tomorrow morning, 6:30. Hopefully I'll have posted this by then. So the reason that was triggered is because Omnicat recommended this, the only one left. And this was a really, really fun gothic novel. it's a little bit long, which was fine because I was totally getting into it. The ending is wrapped up a little bit too neatly for me, but the experience of a lot of these books is just the way that the whole mystery and excuse me unfolds, and the author did such a great job of keeping the character interesting and keeping the mystery kind of fresh in this old house. And I think I said before, so there's this woman who has been accused of a crime, and she is going to be a caregiver to an older wheelchair-bound woman who was accused of killing her family, like, half a century ago, something like that. So it was a very, very fun book. So I recommend it. If that's the type of book that you like, you should definitely listen to The Only One Left. I would definitely read or listen to something else by Riley Sager. So the next couple I'm going to talk about are from the booker list from some past years and this recent year, and one of them, because a lot of them are starting to come up in my queue from the library. So this one was called Western Lane by Chetna Maru. So this is it took me a little bit of time to warm up to this book, but once I did, I really enjoyed it. It's about a young girl, I believe Indian, but could be Pakistani. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure Indian. And I forget, were they in England? Pretty sure they're in England. And so, growing up in an area where you're not the majority, right? And she's a young girl, and she actually has lost her mother, and the father is having difficulty coping with it. And she's really good at, I believe it's squash. And a lot of the book centers around her using squash as almost a coping mechanism, although she's having a lot of difficulty adjusting to her mother's death and her father's reaction to the death. And I'm going to say that by the end of this book, I was really, really into it. And like I said, this one was either on the long list or the short list for the Booker Prize. And I do see the merit in this book. By the end, I really, really liked it. Ann Tyler, Redhead by the Side of the Road. Now, this is probably going to be controversial. I love Ann Tyler. I don't know what about her. Like, her writing seems so simplistic, like anybody could do it. So this, I guess, would be the epitome of the definition, deceptively simple. I don't know how she does it, but she writes characters so well that you get wrapped up into them. And I haven't listened to or read an Ann Tyler book in years. And I'm sure she's won the Pulitzer Prize, and I don't know what all, but this one she was nominated, I believe, for a Booker. And wow, did I enjoy this book. I just fell in love with the character. I don't know, like she wrote one of my favorite movies, which is Accidental Tourist. And Accidental Tourist is a romance, and I hate romantic movies. I hate them. But that one is one of my favorites. I just love the characters. I love the acting. I love the score. Everything about that movie. But so she wrote it. And I've listened to a few others of her books over the years, and I've always loved each one of them. So this one also, I thoroughly enjoyed it. And but this is not going to be for everyone because, like I said, some people won't like her style because it seems too simplistic, especially for a Booker. Like, a Booker is supposed to be challenging stylistically, but it just flows, and she's really good. Now, I guess one thing that she could be criticized for maybe is if you read all of her books, she kind of might have the same character. But since I'm reading them years apart, I didn't have a problem with that at all. Loved this book. Oh, okay. Now, I read another book that isn't here. Why not? I read another Edgar Rice Burroughs book. Okay, sorry, I don't have the picture for it. I did. And that was The Land That Time Forgot. And that one is the basis of a movie, I believe, and I've seen the movie a long time ago. But this book, I started listening to it. It's a standalone, right? There might be another one in the series, maybe, but I believe it's a standalone novel about Americans and Germans on a submarine during, I think, World War I. But that would be weird because I think Edgar Rice Burroughs wrote in the 1890s. Okay, that can't be right. I need to get the year because World War I wasn't in 1890. It was in 1919. Okay, I might have my years off a little bit, but I know it wasn't in 1890. So maybe this book was written a little bit later. But they somehow, through chance and circumstance, like these rival groups get on the same submarine, and they have to overcome their differences to kind of survive on this mysterious land where they go. And of course, it's Edgar Rice Burroughs, so there's going to be like all these crazy creatures and dinosaurs or whatever. But I really enjoyed the book. But yeah, again, it was very racist. I was just like, some of the things that he wrote, I was kind of like, "Meh." It was it was worse than the other one that I had read, which was the one about Pellucidar. So maybe those came later, so it was a little bit more toned down. But yeah, ooh. I won't tell you. But anyways, like some of the things that he says, like rights, is like really, like, by today's standards, it's just like pretty shocking and brutal to hear. I think I have just one more book, and this is the one I finished today. And by the way, most of these books were really short. That's why I was able to plow through them this week. In my library queue, I just had so many books, and I just started doing all the short ones so that I could get the list smaller. And I had to renew a couple of them because we had last week off, and I didn't listen to any of them, so I was getting really behind. So this one is called Study for Obedience by Sarah Bernstein or Bernstein. Okay, you can see that's like a very weird cover. I don't know if I'm going to do this book justice. This book was strange, but in like a weird way. Like, it's not strange in that you can't understand the writing. It's strange because I wasn't even sure if I was getting the meaning behind it. It was just weird. Not a difficult read at all, but it's like if it's like dropping in on the mind of someone who is a human but was raised on an alternate Earth where we have customs that are totally different than ours, and they're just going about their day explaining these things that are very normal to that person, but to me it was just so totally strange. I'm going to give a couple examples. Like, she goes to live with her brother, and her brother lives in a foreign country, and she bathes her brother. There's nothing wrong with him. He's older and he's a businessman. She scrubs his back, she bathes him. And there's nothing sexual about it. It's just one of the duties she has to perform. And the writer writes, "Oh, because the wife and the children left him, now it's the sister's duty to come here and take over the role and do these things for the husband." And I'm just thinking, what? There's just so many weird things like that, and it's like normal. Like, it's just like, oh yeah, I do this and then I do that, and then this woman by the end of the book, just to me, she seems like everyone thinks she's a witch, but she's going around this whole book, and like, she's in this town and her brother just leaves her, and like all these weird things are happening. She can't communicate with anyone. No one even tries to communicate with her. They stay away from her. They shun her. They treat her like she's some kind of witch. All these weird things are happening to the livestock. They blame it on her. And she accepts it. She just is like, well, if they think that, then that must be true because I'm the one that's the outsider. And even though I know it's not true, I need to conform to their ways. It's just like the thinking in this book of this character. is so different and alien to any way that I would process the experiences that are happening, that I could not, it was like I couldn't look away. It was like a car crash. I had to, like, what is she going to say next? Like, how is she going to justify all this stuff? And I don't know. It's just like the weirdest book. Now, I have not gone online, but I'm definitely going online to find out what other people think about this book, because it was so strange. I liked it, but I cannot recommend it. It was just like so weird. Study for Obedience by Sarah Bernstein. All right, and I think that is the end of my Friday night chat. I've got a lot of work to do. As you can see, I still got things piled up. I want to remind you again that Larry's Library, we're going to be doing that, the 4-panel discussion. It's just his monthly check-in. He didn't do it last month because he was also sick. I was getting over being sick at that time as well. I'm still working on a challenge with Scott. I'm sorry, I'm not really supposed to say the names. I guess it doesn't matter, but it's No Solution. But his name came, I was trying to remember his channel name, and his real name came up. With No Solution, right? We're trying to get our rooms in order so that we can have a room tour. I think it's going to be at least one more week. So I'm going to say this, Scott. I have 2 more weeks before I go on vacation. And so let's make our challenge for the week right after that. So like the week before Christmas. So we've given ourselves some extra time just to get everything 100% so that we can do a room tour. And yeah. Oh, did I talk about the one TV show I'm watching, What We Do in the Shadows? So I've finished the first season. My husband and I love the show. So I was a huge fan of the movie. I think it was an HBO movie. But you can't find it anywhere, but there's a TV show, and I think it's in 5 seasons, and we're in the 2nd season now. And man, is it funny. I love that show. It's, and I'm not a big comedy fan. There's certain comedy shows that I really, really like, but most I don't. And this is one of those shows that I absolutely love. The characters are quirky. They're funny. They introduced a new character in this show, and I find his powers hilarious. I recommend the show What We Do in the Shadows. It's a Hulu. It's on Hulu. Right. So there we go. That is a check-in Friday night chat with Garage Geek, and I want to thank all of you out there for the support. Any comments you want to leave, please do. And now it's time for me to get organizing.